What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's the good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here, and I wanted to do a recap / breakdown of everything that's happened during OTAs and minicamp with our rookies this year, in addition to essentially a training camp preview and what the look ahead should look like, right? And with Mason Taylor, honestly speaking, and I think if we had pads on, there'd be more to talk about with Armand Membu, for example, but Mason Taylor actually seems like he's gotten the most praise, the most glowing reviews out of this rookie draft class. And I'd say it's a toss-up potentially between him and Arian Smith, for example, but Mason Taylor had the better career coming in, the lesser questions, etc. And we just talked about as well, some of the reports about Mason Taylor even being ranked higher than Tyler Warren in this draft class by some people out there. So not only is the coaching staff for the New York Jets extremely excited about Mason Taylor, you have media, you kind of have this perfect trifecta of fan, media, coaching staff, and of course front office included in that, all excited about this one player. You would have really felt like he was a first-round draft pick, the way we hear many people talking about him. And he's done nothing to really cause any concerns or really quail the excitement at all so far this offseason, which is really the best thing that you can ask for. There's literally been nothing that looks like it's a compromising factor in how well he can perform in year one. In fact, Aaron Glenn speaking out about the fact that he's been most impressed with his ability in the blocking game, run passing concepts, it is what you should be most excited about, right? Because nobody questions the hands with Mason Taylor. I think is one of the pieces that every analyst, many scouts were most comfortable with Mason Taylor, is the fact that if the ball touches his hands, he's 99% of the time coming down with it, and he's not a guy that wants to be flashy and do all this extra stuff after the catch per se. He's kind of Tyler Conklin-ish in that fashion, right? That he rather secure the ball and lock it in, and then he's not really looking to hit you with double moves or jukes and all this crazy stuff. He might barrel through you. He might just look to bounce off you and make some things happen. But in Mason Taylor's case, he's going to secure the catch, and ultimately, he might be our best security blanket that we've seen really since Dustin Keller, right? And even to that fact, there's been more reports coming out that as guys get a look at him, as guys are continue to go through off-season news and kind of get their thoughts on a lot of the updates that they're getting, you have comps coming out with him potentially ending up having a Mickey Schuler type career, which was the last Pro Bowler that the New York Jets was able to produce. So you combine that with the fact that there's really nothing to limit him from an athleticism standpoint, from a skill set standpoint, and honestly, having someone like Steve Hyden's influence within this coaching staff coming from Detroit, in addition to having the OC that we brought over as well, Tanner Engstrand, it's a huge plus for him. And really every tight end that's on this coaching staff that has any level of NFL ability. So I'm already extremely excited about what the prospects for Mason Taylor is going to look like this year. And I think, and not to get too crazy with it ideally, but I don't think it's out of the norm or completely ridiculous to say that if everything clicks right, he can have a Tyler Conklin-ish season where you're talking about somewhere in the range of 600 to 800 yards, and maybe 4 to 5 touchdowns, something like that, which I think would be an extremely productive rookie year for someone like Mason Taylor. But even in the worst case scenario, I think he's a guy that you see at the very least breaking 500 yards. And for a quarterback in Justin Fields, who was already shown a propensity to be able to connect with his tight ends at a high level when it just comes to playing that security blanket role, right? We haven't seen an offense really unleash him as a pocket passer style guy. And Mason Taylor also, by the way, offers, I think, one of the best abilities when it comes to scramble drills to really help Justin Fields out, as well as he kind of works his way through a lot of that stuff. But he has a quarterback that's been highly efficient. I can't remember the direct stats, so if I find it, I'm going to post it here for you guys. But I think he's like second, somewhere between second and fourth in the league when it comes to targeting tight ends since he came into the league in 2021. So the needle is pointing up for all anybody that's going to be involved with Mason Taylor, right? And one of the things that I pointed out during the last conversation I talked about Mason Taylor was the fact that he is one of the exceptions to the rule where it doesn't feel like he's really worked his way up the depth chart. He was placed at tight end 1, and he's done nothing to lose it, even though he has a veteran in Jeremy Ruckert, on his heels. And even though Stone Smart is coming in, which is supposed to be more of a pure receiving option, that could take away from him. But with the news that he may be able to run and pass block effectively, with the expectations of what he can do in the receiving game, that I think the distance is growing further and further between him and anybody else that can really challenge him for it. So, one, I think it's a huge boost already that we're getting these kind of reviews. But two, when you look at potential roster additions and you want to talk about shoring up a huge piece of schematically what this new New York Jets team may want to do, you could have made the argument that if Jeremy Ruckert continues to show that he can't really progress, and if Stone Smart really can't take that additional leap and he ends up just remaining as kind of a fifth, sixth, maybe seventh weapon in the offense, do you look at trading for somebody that you can bring in to help supplement the offense? And I think the closer you get to Mason Taylor sounding and looking like a complete tight end, the further away those conversations get pushed back, which will be a plus. And then maybe we don't need to do anything until next free agency, next draft, and you don't have to spend resources that you could use to get a more player-friendly contract, right? So with training camp coming up, I think ultimately the only thing Mason Taylor needs to do is secure what he can do in the ground game. I think if he helps the rushing attack, and I think if he continues to just get a steady diet of 3 to 5 catches a game, he's going to lock himself in as an important part of this offense in training camp. And of course, stay healthy. I think that's going to be the biggest piece, but he's been the pro that we expected. He said all of the right things. And, praise during minicamp and, just OTAs is all good. Training camp is going to be where you can make good on those promises. So if the early returns are good, this may be a guy that we finally nail as hopefully also breaking the second round curse for the New York Jets when it comes to weapons, right? I think the last guy we grabbed was Jason Morrow in terms of second round tight ends. And it was quickly a downhill path for him, right? So I expect things to change. Obviously, having all the pros that he's had in his corner and grooming himself for this for a long time really, really helps. Just in terms of knowing what it takes to get to and stay in the NFL. But let me know what you guys think. Mason Taylor, where would you throw him in terms of year one rookie expectations? And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.